What's up, fam? Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hope you had a wonderful holiday season this year. I know I did myself, and we've got New Year's coming up, which is always an exciting time to look forward. It's also a great time to look back, as we do on Instagram and everything, posting our recaps, what bands we listened to, um, what we got to do, what we hope to do next year. So, string theory is all about figuring out how all these things in life have worked together or might work together. And so today we're going to do that. We're going to look back at this year a little bit. And I'm also going to look back further into the distant past of 2013 and 14. So 2021 was maybe not as crazy of a year as 2020, but it's still a little bit odd, right? So a year ago, right now, I was leaving a job where I was a composer at a great company, and I was a little bummed about that because I really liked that job. It was the end of my second year of not touring. We had put out the deluxe edition of Love Letter Kill Shot, of course. We had done some of the cool live streams, and we had the Anniversary X 10th anniversary coming up. So a year ago today, I was sitting in this chair here at my home studio, by the way, Dive Bomb Studios. There's only one. I don't know why it's called Studios. It's not like I own a complex, but whatever. And I was sitting here in this chair looking forward to 2021, thinking to myself, okay, I've got to have a structure or a plan or a sort of like design for what my work life, what my life in music, what I'd like to do. What does that look like going forward? And so I've always built around my students, which many of you have done guitar or recording lessons with me. So as always, thank you. Hope to continue. And I was planning on really pouring a lot of energy into this group called the Stanton Guitar Academy that I was just forming on Facebook. And I was going to get all my students together, which I was able to do on one page, so they can talk, they can trade ideas for practice, progress, share videos, music they're working on, all that kind of stuff. And it ended up being really awesome. But instead of my year being about that, it was obviously about a lot of other things, namely coming back to touring. And like I talked a little bit about in my last segment, about how I wasn't necessarily expecting for that to be a thing this year, but it was. And for the last 6 months plus, it's been, basically my focus again and where I'm pouring all my energy. So here's the story about how that happened. If I had a really cool, funny, awesome pun title for this, it would be Career on Ice, because for a couple years, 2.5 years, I wasn't touring. I was doing plenty of stuff in music with producing, composing, doing the live stream shows, of course, with Disciple, writing still a lot. But my touring career was totally on ice, and that's where it needed to be. And like I've said a bunch of times, I'm really happy that I had that window where I was away, where I got to be home, where I was away from being away. Yeah, that makes sense. You get what I'm getting at here. At the end of the day, I was, again, sitting in this chair forecasting about what the next year would look like, and thinking it would be all about the Guitar Academy, about recording and producing, and about some other work projects that I had in mind. But it ended up taking sort of a different turn. One of the things that I got to do while I was not on the road was finally resume my long-lost career of holding a different kind of stick. So I played hockey growing up, and in 2017, I finally got ice skates and started doing pickup here in Nashville with the Adult Ice Hockey League. And I always wanted to play on a team again, but I couldn't because I was mostly gone, especially weekends. So one of the things I looked forward to a lot when I stopped touring was getting back on the ice and playing a lot with a team on a weekly basis. And so I got to do that for about a year, and it was super fun. Got in pretty good hockey shape, I guess. I was good enough to be a starter on the lowest division of Nashville adult ice hockey, so that kind of gives you an idea. But I just have fun. I don't care about being good or being the best or whatever. I just love the feeling of putting on the gear, holding this thing, going out on the ice. It's just, I love sports, as you know. Love the Flyers. Love my other Bay Area teams, but hockey's always been really special to me. So, playing roller hockey growing up, ice hockey's a little different. It's way better, first of all. It's why the pros play on ice. And there's no ice in California just happening on ponds in the winter. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me to play because the one ice rink in San Jose was super expensive. You'd think they'd have more than one, but there's only one there. But Nashville's got 4, so they're way more affordable. The scheduling's better. It was just a no-brainer to get into it now that I've got the time. So I'm having a ton of fun playing every week, and then COVID happens. And so the rinks are closed for a while, and then when they reopened for months, it was you had to put your gear on at home, and it was just really obnoxious. So I didn't play. I just left it on the shelf for a long time. But back in the spring, so now we're in March 2021, I went ahead and got on the ice for some pickup and started feeling good about playing again. And it's St. Patrick's Day. It's my first game back, playing at night here in Nashville. And I get out there and play a few shifts, and I'm just terrible because I've only skated once so far since this whole pandemic thing happened, a whole year before. So I'm really rusty. The other team's just totally blitzing us, and I'm doing terrible. I'm -4 in the first period, which means they scored 4 goals while I was on the ice. And I think they were probably mostly my fault too. So just doing really bad, but I'm having fun. I'm challenging myself to come back in the second period and play better and just enjoy myself more. And I get out there and, shift number 5 or something, not a whole lot of playing time. I'm on the ice, and there's a bad pass, and there's a loose puck going down towards the other team's goalie. And I've got a good sprint going, so I'm going for this thing. So we call this a loose puck, right? This thing's just on the ice, just floating towards the goalie. He is going to come out and try to get it. But if I can get to it first, I might have an open net to score. And so I'm hustling, and I'm trying to make up for everything that I've done on these shifts before where I've been terrible. So I'm skating as fast as I can, and this guy is coming out to get it. Well, I'm noticing that based on my speed and where he's going to be, I'm about to really hammer this guy, which I don't want to do. So I immediately go to stop or pull up. And so as I'm trying to slow down, my balance and everything, of course, is terrible because I haven't been skating and playing. And I slip backwards so that I don't crush this guy and put my arm out. And I sort of twist around while it happens. It's hard to remember because it's so fast. But as I put my arm out, I fell onto the ice. And falling in roller hockey, it's like on the playground. You hit the tiles or whatever, and you slide a little bit, but you tumble. But on ice, you have to fall different, and I never learned how to do that, I guess. So I put my arm out, and it slips just enough when it touches the ice, and my shoulder pops right out of the socket. So it fell down like that. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw photos from this day. It was pretty gnarly, but it didn't exactly hurt at first, but it really started to. And so I slide into this goalie. He's fine. He gets the puck. I don't get it. I wasn't fast enough. I didn't get to it in time in order to control it and try to score. So because I didn't make it there, he covers it up. They blow the whistle. I get up. I already know my arm won't move. I'm like, dang it, my arm's out. And are you okay? I'm like, yeah, my arm's out of my socket. What? Yeah. I don't even need a doctor to tell me. I've watched enough hockey on TV to see guys, when they do this, that's what happened. And that's exactly what was going on. So I had to go into the locker room, take off all my pads with one arm and my jersey and stuff, which was pretty hard actually, and then pack my bag up and get in the car and drive back up to North Nashville to go to the local hospital for me. So I'm driving a half hour in the rain with one arm out of the socket, and it's really starting to hurt. I have to get x-rays and wait at the emergency room for a while. Finally, it all gets taken care of, and this great doctor, thank God, comes in and just really gently sort of puts it back into position. The pain's immediately gone, right? Now it's just sore, but no major damage, no tears, no breaks. Really thankful, right? Well, what does this mean? That my hockey career is over? Possibly, but more so, it means I can't really play guitar. So when I get home, I'm doing lessons and doing some producing with my arm in a sling up on a stand right here. And I'm doing everything I can to act like this is normal and that it's okay and that I just have to let it heal. But on the inside, I'm totally a wreck. I was super depressed, mad at myself for the financial implications, for, whatever long-term effects I might have. I can't work out. But more than anything, I can't play guitar, which I'm realizing as this is happening, playing and actually holding a guitar in this studio or on a stage or with my friends is what's really important to me as a career musician. Like the studio stuff, the Guitar Academy, the writing sessions, the mixing, getting into that. That's all really awesome, and that's all important to me. I have a ton of fun with it, but it's not it. Like playing guitar is it. And it's easy to get distracted by all that stuff because as a modern musician, you have to be a part of all that. Recording yourself, recording your own audio, like everything that you do in music is like self-produced, right? So that becomes such a big picture, but the core of it all is that I'm a guitar player. That's what I do. I feel like that's what God made me to do, right? So here I am, unable to play for the first time since I was like 15. I broke my arm a few times as a kid. And when I was 15, I had to have a cast for a few months and couldn't play. And it was terrible even then. And that was just a hobby at that point. So I'm a professional, producer, engineer, writer, whatever. But really, I'm a guitar player that couldn't play guitar. And so my poor family was dealing with me being in the worst mood for especially those first couple of weeks. And as that's all happening, I'm just realizing more and more how important it is to me to be out on the road in front of you guys, playing for you, and seeing that what I'm doing with this instrument is like really impacting somebody directly, right? Like there's all kinds of great ways music can serve purposes and share a message, but that's the way that I was at this point really missing, And it was around this time, maybe a month later, that I got a call from Kevin. We had already done the Anniversary X live stream at this point. So this is early April, and I get a call from him letting me know that the guitar player position, if you will, in Disciple is kind of still open, and they're getting different guys to fill the spots. And I've been keeping up with them, of course, but basically he was letting me know they don't have anybody that's signed up permanently. So, if that's something I'd like to do, then I can tell him. Well, for a certain amount of time, I was very like, no, I can't do that. I can't, make that big of a change. I can't, do this big upheaval. I have to, be in control of my schedule. I have to be able to plan this. I have to be able to, decide when I'm doing everything. And with the touring lifestyles, anyone that's done it knows you're not really in control. You're not really commanding what happens. Everything that gets scheduled, you're going, right? Every time you hit a bump in the road, you have to deal with that. Every time there's a conflict, you have to figure it out. And those are really hard things to commit to and manage. And the benefit is huge, right? Like as a musician, the trade-off is incredible when you get to do what you love for those things. But I wasn't there all the way. But as time went by, I was praying about it and thinking about it, and I couldn't stop wanting to get back. And I even asked about, called Kevin and asked about, hey, can I come back and just do like the fall tour and just, see how it goes or whatever. And I'm starting to have these conversations with my family and with the guys, and I'm realizing, oh, I'm doing everything I can to get myself back there, but I'm letting my like other obligations sort of cloud the importance. But having this thing with my arm hurt really opened that door and gave me this sense of like, wow, that really has a spotlight and a highlight. Like, that's really important to me. And thankfully, I've got an amazing family and wife, and they all really supported me in coming back to this and getting back to being on the road, not letting the window of time slip by that I might have. What you realize in the face of this kind of situation is like, well, if I miss this now, if I wait now, if I let this go by now, maybe I'll always look back and regret it, right? And that really gives you that sense of, well, that probably means it's important. That probably means God has something there for me. And so that's why I'm back full-time touring. That's why I'm back here talking to you guys today. And I wonder sometimes if I get to that loose puck and score a beautiful highlight reel goal and launch my ice hockey career. I'm joking. But if I do get to that puck first, what changes? If I don't hurt my arm, if I don't have to be forced to sit for 2 weeks in my studio without being able to play, if I'm not required to sit there and think. So was that God's plan? Was that my doing? Was that, fate or whatever? I think it's like all three. And I'm not happy that I got hurt and that I went through that, but I'm thankful, that the experience taught me a lot about myself and that it allowed this to all happen, which is, been more amazing than I even thought it would be. And another time I had that situation in my life was back in 2013, because I had toured with Disciple as just kind of a touring guy for most of that year. And in the fall, we were getting ready to go out with Audio Adrenaline. And going into 2014, I was talking with Kevin, still living in California at this time. And he was letting me know, like, hey, we love having you. We want you to be here. He'd already made that really clear from the get-go, basically. But he's like, if you're going to keep living on the West Coast, it's going to be pretty tough for us to keep bringing you out and schedule this. So, we got to make some decisions here. So this scenario gets presented where move to Nashville, tour with Disciple, live in California. Probably don't. My thoughts and prayers at that moment in time get directed to that issue, and it comes down to, am I going to really skip this opportunity that I want to take and think back and look back and, what if I did that? What if I didn't let that go by? And I couldn't help but realize that that's exactly how I would feel if I didn't, and how my family felt about it too. And so, I made the trek, journeyed out to Nashville in January of 2014. And the rest is history. I still live here. So I'm out here in Nashville because of Disciple. That's the whole reason my career and my life in music is even a real thing. And the first song that we wrote together during that 2013-14 time period for Attack, which is on the wall right there, was the song that ended up being called Crazy. When I was still playing with I Am Empire, I wrote this riff, and it felt like the kind of thing you'd hear at an arena, right? And obviously I already was deep into several years and maybe decades of loving hockey and watching it every day. And so I have this working title for a demo called Puck Drop, and it ends up being the first thing I work on with the Disciple guys a couple years later. And we turn it into this song called Crazy that gets on our first album. And I am just noticing today how that experience with this little riff idea called Puck Drop ends up tying into this event where I'm on the ice. And it's the catalyst for me coming back to that entire world, right, and that band. And I love how the song came out, and I love how we got to play it on a City Rock Fest tour, how the response was to it. I didn't really know at that point in time, being so young and new to Disciple, like, what is this song going to mean to people, or what is this going to, like, be in the Disciple timeline? I have no idea. Like, is this even going to make the album? Is it going to be just a blip on the radar? And it's definitely on the back half of Attack, but I think it's a really good showcase for a lot of stuff that doesn't happen on the rest of the album. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the riff started, where it ended up, and how the song became to be what it is, and then of course play it for you. So check it out. Another cool thing about Crazy is I always forget to even mention, the lyrics and the meaning of the song, because I'm always a musician first. But this was the first time I wrote any lyrics for a Disciple song too. Kevin was working on, I think it was verse 2. I'll check. And I helped him come up with the line, I need a psychosurgery before I write a straitjacket symphony. I remember straitjacket symphony being a term I threw out in the studio, and he used it and gave me lyric credit. So much props to Kevin there. Just really one line, but it was cool to contribute and feel like I was a part of that song beyond just the riffs and stuff, which was, especially at that time, really rare for me. So back in 2012-ish, I was riding with the old I Am Empire boys in California, and I was always trying to come up with stuff like this, real fun, arena rock kind of riffs. So I had this thing. Or something to that effect. I think I even had a demo for this buried in a hard drive somewhere. But when I got into touring with Disciple, we were on the bus during our probably first tour one time. If you saw the 2013 tour with Fireflight Save Us Now tour, that was my first one. Jason, Josiah, and I were all riding on acoustics in the front lounge, and just kind of trading ideas back and forth. And I showed him that, and what we ended up doing was writing around an idea for that idea for that riff. But instead of playing it like so, we thought it would be a lot more Disciple-esque to play that. I call that the flat 5 from the blues scale, right? That's a very Disciple thing to do, so we changed it up like that. And I wrote this on that acoustic guitar sort of on the spot. And then we did or something to that effect. I wrote the bass part for the verse in my old apartment in California, just making demos at home. And then I came up with that bridge back in that first bus session as well with Josie and Jason. I remember we were sitting up there just sort of jamming through those different ideas. I might have had that bass line as sort of a concept already, but I hadn't gotten there all the way. And I was like, what if we did this, really dumb, fun chromatic thing? Just the same thing every fret all the way down. And so we sat there and came up with the timing of And then we wrote this chorus. Same turnaround riff. And that was the first time we felt like, ooh, that's cool. That all fits together. I remember Kevin walked up from the back lounge, was like, that's sweet. Like, there's some energy in that. And that was one of the first moments that we all wrote together because there was some good energy with that fun. And we were really just sort of learning Disciples' music and whole identity at that point. So that was an exciting moment because it was like, oh, cool, we got one. Like, we made the cut with one. And that was it. So it went from Puck Drop to Crazy, and I went from the roller rink to tour and the ice rink right back. So here I am, and here's how you play a little bit of guitar and bass for this song.